Well, developing overnight here at 6:30 on GMJ, Hurricane Ian, now a Category 3 storm. We're talking about a major hurricane. The National Hurricane Center upgrading that storm to major status a little around 2:30 overnight, continuing to move over the western portion of Cuba. The storm's so large that we're already seeing rain bands hitting South Florida, Monroe County into Miami-Dade County. We've seen street flooding in Miami, pouring out of the sewers and the manhole cover flying right there. Hope you're having a good morning so far. I'm Lou Turner.
Welcome in. I'm Keitha Nelson. We have team coverage for you this morning on this very busy Tuesday morning of the storm's impacts. Now, our team of reporters are standing by for you from what JEA is doing to prepare for the storm to what the city is doing, and sailors at Naval Station Mayport, they too are busy this morning.
Let's begin with our team of meteorologists in the Weather Center. We've got Mike Prangley here in-house, but also Robert Speta is on the green wall right now with the very latest track. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, good morning. And yeah, we'll take a look at the latest on the satellite picture. This did make landfall here about an hour and a half ago there in southwestern Cuba. Still maintaining an eye feature. But here's the thing. Once this moves over land, kind of gets cut off from that heat engine of the oceans here. But then it's going to move out there to the Gulf of Mexico. Sea surface temperatures there in the high 80s. We still have good outflow aloft. Good in the sense that that's what these storms want. And that's going to allow this to continue to strengthen after it kicks over Cuba. And it looks like it is continuing to maintain that core despite friction over land there. And if it maintains that organization, it'll just be kicking right back in once it gets out into the Gulf of Mexico. Already outer rain bands impacting from Key West over towards the Miami area. In fact, this is a great image just from the University of Wisconsin. I like this because it shows that inner core. And watch this right here. Watch that wrap up as we peer through the upper level cirrus clouds. Look at that just symmetrical circle right there. That inner core, that band right there, that is where we are seeing those Category 3 winds within that. And that's what we're going to be talking about as this storm gets further towards the north, that inner core and where exactly it could come on shore around the Tampa area and where they're going to see the highest of the impacts, because that's where you're going to see, you know, stuff, as Tim's been saying, like in the movies. Their Category 3 winds over 100 miles per hour. It will be on the west coast. For us here in the Jacksonville, the storm will not only weaken a bit as it gets further towards the north, but we're also going to be looking at more of a dynamic setup, the rain being the big issue for us, that threat of some flooding, not so much the surge, but even inland areas, that precipitation really piling up to about 6 to 12 inches in spot. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, but some of the guidance has been trending further towards the east with this dry air. You can see this dew points further towards the north. Atlanta, for example, they got dry air, and maybe parts of southeastern Georgia, we could back off those rain totals, but that also means rain totals are increasing for parts of St. Johns and Flagler County. So there's going to be a variety of impacts here, which is why we're going to continue to break down that county by county outlook for you.
Thanks for that, Robert. We know utility crews are already in place, hoping to be ready to go to restore power as needed. JEA is training, we know, out-of-state crews at this point as we speak. Leah Shields right now is on your side live for us in downtown Jacksonville, where a lot of utility trucks from across the nation are staged right now.
Good morning. I'm on Bay Street right here in downtown Jacksonville. Behind me, you see more than 10 utility trucks. These are from Missouri and Indiana, different spaces across the country, and all of them are coming here, kind of staging, ready to respond, try to keep the lights on when the storm hits. JEA crews are trimming trees and doing the work ahead of time to prevent major outages from Hurricane Ian. Whatever they can't do today, though, crews will be staged around the city to respond to as the storm rolls in. JEA is also trying to keep the power on at homes that have overdue bills.
Last thing somebody, as me with 3 kids, a single mother should have to worry about is, oh, my lights are going to be disconnected.
About a week after disconnections resumed, JEA put another pause on it for now. Disconnections will resume after the storm moves out of the area. For now, though, a little more than 200 customers are heading into the storm without power. That number is changing, though, as customers are making payments. Angel Williams is one of those customers who had to get a payment plan in place to keep her lights on. But she worries the hurricane could impact her ability to keep paying.
Or even major flooding, we can't get to work. We can't go to work. So how can we pay a light bill that we can't even go to work for?
And disconnections will resume after the storm hits. As for now, though, there is something you can do to help JEA keep your power on. Go to your JEA account, sign in, make sure all your contact information with your account is up to date, because that's the information that they will use to keep you updated on any outages during the storm. Leah Shields, First Coast News, on your side.
Thanks for that, Leah. And as Ian approaches, we could hear from city officials today on whether or not emergency shelters will be open.
We need that update. We'll hear from Mayor Lenny Curry a little later. We do know organizations that help the homeless in downtown Jacksonville anticipate opening their doors. On your sides, Renata DiGregorio brings us what the plan is so far.
Right now, Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry says they are not ordering evacuations nor opening emergency shelters, but that could change.
Make one last check of your supply kit, review your emergency plans with your family. In short, be Jax ready.
At Sulzbacher, they say they are already helping more mothers and children who are dealing with homelessness, and they do anticipate opening their doors.
When that rain starts and those winds start, who knows, but Jacksonville's pretty good about opening the doors.
That's part of why Angela Eberhardt, who says she's been sleeping at Trinity Rescue Mission since she got out of the hospital with COVID, says she can stay positive.
We don't have a limit on the capacity of the number of people that we can care for during a storm. Typically, we have between 30 and 40 people that come in, and we have enough room.
At Sulzbacher, Eileen Briggs says their downtown location will be open to men, and Sulzbacher Village in Springfield open to women and families as emergency shelters.
We do want to get the word out that if there's families out there that are homeless and they're worried about this storm that's coming, they can come into the village here in Springfield.
Changing Homelessness counted more than 1,000 homeless people in Jacksonville last year, more than 200 of them unsheltered. Eberhardt plans to take herself and her purple suitcase to a shelter to ride out Hurricane Ian and hope for the best.
To keep me dry and, out of the wind and the rain, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
Stay with us for more updates on the emergency shelters. Renata DiGregorio, First Coast News, on your side.
Thanks for that, Renata. Now, as Hurricane Ian gets closer, we know plenty of businesses and organizations are closing and getting prepared for this storm.
Wednesday was actually supposed to be the grand opening of the USS Orlick Naval Museum here downtown Jacksonville. That's where McKenna Rodriguez joins us now live with what the plan is for that museum now.
Well, as you can guess, Lou, that grand opening has been rescheduled for some time next week. But right now what they're doing is prepping for Hurricane Ian. Now, these ropes always are tying down the ship on a regular day, but more have been brought in. These are way more thicker and heavy. I'm told that there was 4 people it took to bring in all these different sets that are lined up down here. Now this morning they're going to add an additional 8. 3 were put on already yesterday. The executive director says a plan for bad weather was put in place before when this project started, and that's what they're going with right now. They're pretty confident in it and making sure that she stays where she needs to be. As far as our local bases go, now ships and we'll start leaving or mooring at Mayport. And as far as the aircrafts go, they're going to be evacuated or secured into hangars. Now, the first ship is set to leave Mayport at noon today, with plenty of more to follow. And like I said, the grand opening for the museum is going to be rescheduled for some time next week. Keep you posted on when that is. Reporting downtown, yes, First Coast News on.
And a reminder, as you do prepare for storms and you stock up, are many suggestions right there on your screen. Food and water to last 3 to 7 days for every person in your home. Also a good idea to have that gallon of water per person per day. Stock up on your sports drinks. A manual can opener, remember, in case power goes out. Disposable plates and utensils as well. Mike Prangley is standing by now. We've got him joining our team coverage this morning, talking Ian. Hello, Mike.
Hey, hello. Hey, we've got friends, family in Tampa. You got friends in Central Florida along the I-4 corridor. We've got to watch this carefully. Latest trends continue to inch it a little farther to the south and east. Okay, so right now, here we go. We've got land interaction taking place in western Cuba, and we've got to watch to see what happens with Ian when it reemerges over that warm Gulf water, because the land does have an influence on its track. Okay, so that's very important for our friends in Tampa, because every mile does matter on the West Coast, because the worst of this storm will be in the Tampa, Sarasota, and even watching Fort Myers carefully in this corridor right here to see exactly what happens. In fact, the Hurricane Center still has the track as a major hurricane. Oh boy, yes, right between Sarasota and Tampa. In fact, Sarasota would be on the right side of the storm where you get the worst of the effects. Okay, so a big lashing for central coast of central Florida. And as we look at this carefully, the storm surge warning along with the hurricane warning, the reason why we have to check on our friends, look at these waters. This is a storm surge at least, I think, of 10 feet plus in many areas, and that's not counting the waves on top of that. So make sure they heed the warning and have a place to stay. Things go downhill in Tampa as early as tomorrow morning with some of these big feeder bands. And for us here at home, we're going to start to see some heavy bands of rain through the day on Wednesday, especially in St. Johns County. Of course, we'll keep you updated.